Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be behind a drum set. Yes, okay. This is going to be beginner's guide to behind the drum. Today we'll be just talking about the snare drum. Don't be overwhelmed with all these other drums. Today will just be about the snare drum. Today's video will be demonstrated in 3 different parts. There's how to hold your stick, where to put your stick when you're hitting the drum, and how to hold your drum correctly, whether you are in a marching band or you're behind a drum set. Now, before we start, I would like to mention posture. So posture is very important, especially if you want to get more into drumming. Whether you're doing a standing marching band with the snare drum or with the bass drum, you kind of want to be able to have a straight back, because if you're going to be doing this for a long time, then your back is not going to be happy with you. And when you're playing the drums, you want your straight as possible. Imagine there's a string pulling you up. If you have a snare drum in front of you in a marching band, you're going to be having this weight on you, so you're going to want to do this, but you have to practice to be able to have a straight back while you're playing. Alright, so drumsticks. Everybody's different. I have 2 different sets of drumsticks here. We got 707 hickory sticks here. These are Pro Marks. I really like these. They're kind of light. Then we got these 5Bs hickory. They're also hickories. Yeah, so how to hold your stick properly. Sticks are usually you're going to be using your thumb and your pointer finger quite often. You're going to be holding it with these 2 fingers like this. You'll see a lot of new drummers, they'll be kind of playing with the pinky out. It's totally functional, but the proper way that if you have a drum teacher, they'll teach you this, is you want to be able to use your other 3 fingers for momentum when you're hitting the drum together. As you can see here, when I was hitting, the back of my palm is going to be facing up for both hands when I'm hitting, and I'm going to have these fingers. The back fingers are holding this, and my thumb is pointing up alongside the stick. See that its thumb's pointing up, and I'm using my fingers to use the stick like that. So now that you have that down, just kind of practice with your practice pad on your snare drum, hitting the drum. Now the second part that I'd like to show you is where to hit your sticks on the drum. Now you've kind of gotten it on this on your practice pad, maybe getting the proper grip toward your sticks. You want to make sure that you have that triangle shape where you're pointing together. And you're going to find the very middle of your drum, and you're going to try and hit when you're playing, whether it's playing a drum set with the basic groove, like the 4/4 groove. You got a thing that if you have your practice pad, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a little piece of tape and mark right in the dead center where your drum is, and just practice where you're hitting. Now the final step, the third step of all this, is how are you supposed to position your drum. Now, if you can see here, it's kind of hard to tell, but I have my snare drum on a bit of an angle here. Like this is kind of, if this is my hand flat to the ground, you can kind of see it's on an angle. And with that, I'm going to bring you over there, and I'm going to show you isolated from behind the drum set, kind of how I have it set up versus how you would be in the percussion section set up, maybe from a standing snare drum versus sitting down and using the snare drum. Alright, so I'm behind the camera here, but the next step here is, as you can see, we got the snare stand to the right, and we got my snare. Every single drummer is going to be slightly different, and this goes for the same for all percussion. The way you hold your sticks is going to be slightly different because everyone's hands are made differently. And if you look carefully, you can kind of see it's pushing, when I rotate it counterclockwise, it's pushing this piece up on this screw, and it's gonna move these 3 pieces closer together. You can also see that there's this rotation middle piece you don't want to deal with this too much, but I'd recommend to kind of have it so that it's flat with the stand. Now we got the snare. You can see at the bottom there's the snare. The batter head you want facing up, because that's the batter head. That's what you're going to be wanting to hit. Each of you can see right there, that's part of the snare stand. Now I'm gonna that piece that I showed you at the bottom, I'm gonna be rotating it so that those three pieces, they come together and they squeeze the drum. I'll give you a close-up of this piece. As I'm rotating it, you can see it get closer. I'll zoom in. And it's tightened. If I zoom out for you, now it's nice and tight. So now you guys have this all set up. You're gonna notice one of the things on the side of the drum is that's attached to the snare. So you can see, you can rotate it, and what it does, it's changing the tension of the snare at the bottom. And if you rotate your drum, your snare drum around, you'll see every snare drum's a little bit different. But for my snare drum here, this is a Tama. You just flick this over, and when you flick this over, it's actually, it gets rid of the snare sound, because at the bottom the snares are loose. You can take a look for yourself. And then this tightens the snare. As I end this video, I would just like to give out two honorable mentions. One is, so we talked about today about how to hold your sticks. The way I taught you is traditionally for timpani, but jazz artists, they would hold it kind of like if you're holding a pencil in your left hand. So if you're left-handed, I guess it would be like this if you're left-handed on the drum set. But in your snare hand, you're gonna have it so it's like you're holding a pencil, and you kind of want it so it's sticking out more than you would on your right hand, because the right hand's not gonna go past your you don't want it to go past your wrist, but this one you can let it stick out a little bit more. And as you're playing, you're probably gonna notice like it's probably not as comfortable to play like this on the snare drum. So what I've seen a lot of artists do, a drum artist, is they actually have their drum closer to them and facing inwards away from them, so that when they're playing like this, you can work on that in the term of kind of playing around with it, I guess, because a lot of it is a trial and error. What feels comfortable, what you don't like, depends on what style you're playing. If you're in a band or if you're in your school band. I personally don't use it like that, even if I'm using the traditional jazz grip. I like having it kind of matched along with my my toms. So if you can see here, my toms are kind of on a higher angle, but it's overall like you want it kind of, I like having it swoop toward me like that. So like. So that's all I have to talk about today, and this was just about the snare drum and kind of how you have it positioning. All the other things I did today I'll have in future videos, so look out for that. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, just take it one step at a time. Go back in the video when I talked about how to hold your sticks properly, and then you're going to move on to where you're hitting in the drum, and then set that up again, and just kind of doing that over and over again, and getting used to how the drum feels around you, because you want it to fit you. You don't want to fit the drum set. Especially your own personal one. As you get on and you're playing more often, you're using other people's kits, you should be able to kind of maneuver your skills and abilities to go around everyone's drum set, but when you're starting out, you really want your drum set to feel like yours, and I really hope this helps. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.